Dear Depression Part 2. My first video that I had in this message, I wrote about kind of things that I had gone through and, you know, things that I was feeling at one time in my life. And, I wanted to say that just because it's something that goes on in a lot of people's minds and a lot of people's heart and a lot of people's lives. And we don't always speak about it. We don't always say anything. We're quietly suffering by ourselves. And I wanted to just kind of, being transparent is something that like I can grow off when I listen to a YouTube video or listen to somebody and they're like explaining like some of their things and their trials that they went through, and I'm like, oh man, I felt that way, and you don't feel as alone when that happens. And we're all impacted by different things in different places and different circumstances in our life. We're not immune to go through struggles, right? To go through ups and downs, the climbs and falls. We all experience some kind of pain. Through our life. Some emptiness. We're all touched by it. Some people are touched by it in a deeper, stronger way. Uh, and it's just something that we go through those struggles. And something that I've learned is when we go through those struggles, man, the moments shape us. Those moments shape us, but in the struggle, it's something that you have to define it, because it's like sitting on a boat. You fall out of a boat, and you can keep drifting away from that boat, right? Or you can fight and try to get back to that boat and get back on. you know that's kind of what I feel like. Sometimes when we struggle, we don't do anything. We stay frozen. And I mean, everybody deals with it differently. And it's like, you're not bad, you're not right or wrong for dealing with it certain ways. But um it just, we have to do something about it. It's depend our lives dependent on it. Like we have to kind of shift a little bit. We have to pivot a little bit. um the society, how it calls it says, mental health, depression. I call it struggle. My depression struggle. I'm struggling. you know um in my life, in my soul, in my mind, I've struggled with different things. And sometimes it was circumstantial. Sometimes it was because I put myself in a position that made me um go downhill. That sometimes I was just making poor choices. So like you reap those, the repercussions come on with your decisions. So like you feel bad, and you feel like, made when you made mistakes, or or relationships, or just whatever those things, circumstantial. Sometimes you feel down because you have a family member passes away, or somebody passes away, or there's sickness, there's health stuff. Circumstantial, you're gonna feel a certain way. So like you're human. But sometimes at times in my life, sometimes I felt down for no particular reason, and I'd just be like, man, what is wrong with me? And it was something that I couldn't get out of, and everything was fine around me. And that, I'm struggling in life right there. And I think that, we all have certain things, whether it be circumstantial or whether it be something that we don't know why we're struggling with it. My message is just to let you know, um, I'm not trying to stand in place of a doctor or give medical advice or tell you to do this or to that, tell you to do that. I've personally, just personally, I'm telling you things that have worked for me, and maybe they'll work for one person. But I I've been on medicine before. I've taken different antidepressants. I've taken like Zoloft and Wellbutrin, stuff like that. Just because I went into a doctor and I, hey, something's going on. I need a little help here. And that was one of the hardest things I've ever done, to call and say like, hey, something's not okay. Well, what's wrong? What's wrong? You can't, like, you cough. You have a cough. I got a cough, but like when you're struggling inside mentally, it's harder to say like, hey, I'm like struggling mentally. Like, it's just hard to say that. And for you that are going through it and that struggle with it, you know what I'm talking about. You can relate to that. And so at times I was on medication, and it helped, man. It helped, and I'm grateful for that. At times I did counseling. I did counseling, and that was one of the best things I've made a choice to do. Like, and that's another thing. You're hard to put yourself in that position to move forward to that position, and that was really something that benefited me, and it has for my ever since I went. Ever since I went, those tools and things that that person taught me have have been lifelong, lessons that help me. And so those are things that, exercise, medically, there's different things that can bring us out with medicine, but also like natural, the nature, the natural stuff that we do, sleep good, um, exercise, do some things that bring you joy. Man, sometimes circumstantial stuff is the things that you're surrounded with, man. Maybe you're drinking too much, maybe you're partying too much, maybe you're around a lot of people that just bring you down, and that's, circumstantial. And um so there's all those things that factor in. But one thing that really, is hard to do is bring it to light. Bring it to light, and don't keep it in the dark. um Talk about it with somebody. Talk about it with somebody you trust. Talk, there's 1-800 numbers, there's hotlines, there's text message stuff, there's pages all over the social media, or even just scrolling, you can type it in. um there's so many different resources, and I know that it's hard to just even like speak about it, but bringing it to light has been one of the blessings. It's a scary thing to do, but you it 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 it's not healthy to keep it in the dark, and it's harder than hell. It's harder than I mean, I get it, but if you talk about those things, it's not a burden. It's like I've gotten comfortable enough to be like, hey, I'm going through something right now. Like, I don't know what's going on, and um, I'm just feeling a certain way. Um, you know, it's still hard to express that. And also, like, try to face it, try to capture that, like, attack it. It's hard to do that too. You try not to let it get worse if there's something you can do to make it better. And when you're stuck in it, though, I mean, I get it. When you're stuck in those moments, it's hard to do those things. But if you can even just shift a little bit, a little inch by inch, to get out of bed, get do something different that like rejuvenates your soul a little bit. It's huge. And something also like research, because research it, as in, sometimes people are lacking vitamin D. Sometimes you're lacking a essential nutrient in your body, and it can mess you up. Male or female, like, there's a lot of things that go on in your body, hormones, um, if you're lacking something, it can jack your your mental health up. It can jack you up in a lot of different ways, and um, cause you to be all sorts out of whack. And so that's something that has I do that too. I check my blood work, testosterone, check my vitamin D, B12. I mean, like the list can go on and on, but like there's a lot of different things that factor in. So sometimes it's good to get that checked out and figure out like what is actually going on. And that's something that also worked for me. Um, journal and write. I like to journal and write. I don't um, think you have to do it every day, but like when you're feeling those moments, and it's just something like I feel strongly about too. Like just to write your feelings down. You don't even have to keep it. Burn it, throw it away, rip it up, crinkle it, whatever you need to do. But it's just little things that you can do to help improve and just to be here a little longer, be here, one more day. Um, because some people fight severely, just to stay alive another day. I mean, it's a real fact. Some people wake up and they don't want to be here, and they're seriously contemplating, not being here anymore. And that doesn't make there's nothing wrong with them for that. It's just something that they're struggling with, and I hope they find light in that darkness there, and I hope they find a way out of that thing, and just remind themselves that it's just a season. It'll pass. It's just a season, and it'll pass. You can't sit there for too long, but take the rest you need. But it's just a season, and you'll get through it. You can overcome it. And I hope that you strongly feel that if somebody's struggling like that right now. um, I hope everybody finds a little light today that needs it, and even if you don't need it. And I hope you find the beauty in your struggle, and the beauty through the struggle, and the beauty in each day. um, Dear Depression Part 2, thank you so much. Much love to you all.